Welcome to today's lecture, friends. In today's lecture, I would be clarifying the notation that I will be using in this lecture series. It is important to clarify this notation because my lecture series is not the only source of learning for you. You will be you will be consulting learning from other textbooks also. And Mm, those textbooks are very popular. So you will be seeing their notation a lot. And my notation slightly differs from their notation. And when I say their notation, I am largely referring to the notation used by Scott Doddleson in his textbook, Modern Cosmology. Now let's see that what is the notation that I am using, what is the notation that he is using, and end of the day, what do we want to do? Do you want to use my notation? Do you want to use his notation? And I will answer that question with the remarks made by Professor Matthias Blau in his lecture notes, which I found online on the theory of general relativity. He makes a very beautiful remark about the notation, and I will tell you about his remarks, and that will answer the question whether you want to use my notation or do you want to use his notation. Or do you want to use Scott Doddleson's notation or any other professors or authors or researchers' notation, or your own invented notation, as long as you are not deviating too much from the convention. And I think I'm not deviating too much from the convention. I think my notation makes sense. And by the way, my notation is inspired by the notation used by the material I found from the University of Helsinki. I made slight changes to that notation for my convenience, but by and large, my notation reconciles easily with their notation. Okay, so let's see what notation. Notation can be confusing, so please pay attention. Okay, and I assume that you are paying attention. So one way to define the coordinate system of perturbed gauges is that you decorate x, not the index. So notation 1 is you are decorating x, you are writing perturbed gauge 1 as x caret alpha, perturbed gauge 2 as x tilde alpha, and that is the notation which is used by Scott Doddleson. Another way is that you are writing the perturbed gauge by decorating the index. This is the notation which I am using. I am decorating the index, not the coordinate. I'm decorating the index, not this letter x. I mean, the coordinate is the whole coordinate, including this index. So what I'm saying is that I'm not decorating letter x, but I'm decorating the index alpha. Okay, now let's see what a vector will look like with this notation. So we have a vector field f alpha. In gauge 1, I will write this as f alpha caret. So I will decorate alpha. Again, in gauge 2, I am decorating alpha. I am writing f alpha tilde. Okay. So that was vector. Now let's see tensor. If I have f alpha beta tensor, I will write f alpha caret beta caret. So I will be decorating indices. I will not be writing like this. I will not be decorating f. and not decorating indices. I will be leaving f as f in both the gauges, but I will be decorating indices. Alpha caret, beta caret, alpha tilde, beta tilde. Okay. Scalar, there are no indices. So no issue here because there are no indices here. So nothing to decorate here. Transformation at a given point. Okay. So we want to see that how this transformation at a point is going to look in both the notation. So P is a point that has coordinates x alpha caret in gauge 1, x alpha tilde in gauge 2 according to my convention. So we want to see the transformation of f alpha beta in at a point, fixed point P. So I'm going to transform f alpha beta at one fixed point P, and you have seen these transformations in my previous videos. We have done transformations at fixed point in my previous videos, and you can there I did all the work according to the notation which I am using. But now I will show you the notation which Dodalson has used and how does that compare with the notation which I am using. Okay, let us see how Dodalson does it. So in his equation 5.69, in the section from gauge to gauge, this is what Dodalson has. For the metric tensor G alpha tilde, he's writing G tilde alpha beta, and then he's using true transformation objects, partial derivative of x tilde alpha with respect to x mu, partial derivative of x tilde beta with respect to x nu, and then he is arriving at g mu nu. So he starts with g tilde alpha beta, arrives at g mu nu, and here he is doing g tilde alpha beta at x tilde, and g mu nu he arrives at x. And in his case, x tilde is gauge 1 and x is gauge 2. So he is dealing with two gauges. One is gauge 1 and one is gauge 2. Both are perturbed gauges or not perturbed, that doesn't matter, depends like what your alpha and this x tilde and x are. So transforming from one gauge to another gauge, he is using this convention. So for example, if I have to do transformation of f tilde f alpha beta using Dodalson notation, so I will say f alpha beta tilde, this is using Dodalson notation, at one point P. I will arrive at f caret mu nu at point P. So tilde is my gauge 2, or you can say gauge 1. You can write it like this also, that this is gauge 1 and I am arriving at gauge 2 after doing this transformation. So what are the transformations which I am doing? I am basically doing caret here and tilde here. All of this I find confusing, but let's get this out of the way, and then I find my notation easier to use. But again, which notation you want to use, which is better, I will answer that question with Professor Matthias Blau's remarks at the end of this lecture. So this is how this transformation you can do from f alpha beta caret at point P to f mu nu tilde at point P using Scott Dodalson's notation, which I believe is the most popular notation. But let's see the notation which I am using, inspired by the University of Helsinki notes, the notes that I got from the online published material by the University of Helsinki. Okay, so I am saying that let's open this also, look at both of them side by side. So I am saying that I have this, okay, on the left hand side, and I am getting this on the right hand side. So I have f alpha caret beta caret, which is this in Dodelson, and here in my notation it is this. And instead of writing like this, I am I'm using my this tensor, this transformation tensor. So these multiplying by 2 transformation tensors, acting upon this f alpha caret beta caret, I get this. And we have seen this in our previous videos. We have discussed at length about how we can arrive from caret value in caret gauge to value in tilde gauge. And when I say caret, I mean gauge 1. When I say tilde, I mean gauge 2. So we don't have to write argument p. It is obvious in this case. When it is not obvious, then we will write. But in this case, we are dealing with at one point only. So we can simply write it like this. And this is a very compact and elegant notation. Again, I did not invent it in my dream. It was inspired by University of Helsinki notes, and my thanks to them for making this wonderful notation available at free of cost in their online lecture material. I made slight modifications, but those are not worth mentioning. By and large, this is the same as Helsinki. Okay, so this notation I will follow, and when you are using consulting Dodelson textbook in conjunction with my lecture series, so please be aware that conceptually we will be on the same page. Mathematically also, when we are deriving perturbation equations, by and large, with maybe some minor things here and there, but by and large we'll be on the same page when we get the final perturbation equations. I don't think we'll be having discrepancies at that point, but it's like how you arrive at those equations. What we are discussing right now is this whole notation and all that framework is how we derive the perturbation equations. So the final perturbation equations, whether you use this notation or that notation, they should look the same. When I say they should look the same, maybe some minor things here and there not worth mentioning, but you know what I'm saying. So then the notation will not confuse you when you are looking at the final perturbation equations. But initially, how we are using all this, how we are building the framework, what bookkeeping devices we are using for our framework, then I find this notation simpler than this notation. Okay. So another thing which again inspired by University of Helsinki is again it's split into notation so that you do not confuse with the Dodelson's notation. And okay, so derivative with respect to time. So when you are differentiating some physical quantity q with respect to time, which is the cosmic time t, you write as del q partial derivative q with respect to partial derivative t. In my cosmic school, which is my YouTube channel, my cosmic school, I am going to write this as q dot. I'm going to use q dot in my channel in this lecture series. In conformal time, when instead of time t, you have conformal time eta. So you will have partial derivative of q with respect to eta. At my cosmic school, we are going to call it q prime. Some textbooks use q dot for partial derivative of q with respect to eta, but I will call q dot for this and I will call q prime for this. Partial derivative with respect to conformal time will be q prime. Partial derivative with respect to cosmic time will be q dot. Now, some textbooks use q dot for partial derivative with respect to prime. So you need to be careful of that. And Scott Doddleson uses what? Scott Doddleson is using partial derivative with respect to conformal time as dot. So this dot notation he is using when he is doing partial derivative with respect to conformal time, and he uses this dot notation when he is doing perturbation. But before he starts perturbation, he uses the dot notation for partial derivative with respect to time. So partial derivative with respect to time using dot notation, he does that in earlier chapters. But when dealing with perturbation, he is using that for conformal time. So that's just if you are comparing my solutions with the Scott Doddleson solutions. So note that he does this while I will be sticking with my notation. Partial derivative of q with respect to conformal time will be q prime. Partial derivative of q with respect to t time will be dot, q dot. When I say my cosmic school, this lecture series, I mean in this lecture series, so that you do not confuse that what is this, where is my cosmic school coming from. Let's say my YouTube channel, right? So in my YouTube channel, I will be using this. Okay. Now another important thing is when you see q prime 0, it means what? When you see q prime 0, does it mean partial derivative with respect to time, or does it mean partial derivative with respect to eta? And the answer is it depends upon what your metric is, because q prime 0 means the first coordinate of your metric. If your metric is this, then q prime 0 means del q by del t, which is, in our case it will be q dot. And if your metric is this, and by the way this should be minus here, if your metric is this, then q0 means del q by del eta, which is q prime. So here q0 means q dot, here q0 means q prime, depends upon your metric. In our case, because we are using this convention for t derivative, we are using dot. For prime, for eta, this eta conformal time derivative, we are using prime. And that will be whether you want to use dot or you want to use prime, depends upon your metric. Now, Professor Matthias Blau's remarkable statement, one should not hang up on notation. This is from his lecture notes on general relativity, page 28. Coordinates are fundamentally just bookkeeping devices, so use whatever is convenient for current bookkeeping or other purposes. So do not be hung up on notation. Okay, so that I am not dreaming up this statement for you to defend my notation, because sometimes if you are too much attached to notation, you can defend it with the profound statements, your own hooked up profound statements, which is okay as long as you are able to convince the other person. But I am taking support from Professor Matthias Blau, and here he says on page number 28, one should not hang up on notation. Coordinates are fundamentally just bookkeeping devices. So feel free to use whatever works for you. And here is Matthias Blau, lecture notes on general relativity, published on August 13, 2019. And that means I am free now to use my notation because I find that work for me better than this notation. And same applies to this cosmic time t and eta. I am going to stick with whenever you see dot on my YouTube channel, My Cosmic School, whenever you see dot, that means derivative with respect to time, and when you see prime, that means derivative with respect to conformal time, eta. Thank you, friends.